All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Break Time with Pastor V. Thank you. You're probably hearing a lot of music in the background because my son is downstairs mixing music, and I didn't get a chance to tell him that I'm starting break time, so it is just loud. Hopefully you can still hear me. Hey Shannon, how are you? Thank you for being here this afternoon. I was saying that you guys are probably hearing music in the background. I am at the church in my office, and my son is downstairs mixing music, so it's just loud. But anyway, we thank God for him and his gifts and using them for God's glory to mix music that glorifies God. I am thankful that you are here today. God has been good. It's been a good day so far. Got to spend some time on the golf course. Hey, Jessica. With my son this morning. One of our regulars, Jennifer Mumford, has had surgery, her hip replaced, and looks like things gone well. So we thank God for that and praying for a speedy recovery without any incidents. So, hey, I have a few questions for you I've written down because I know a lot of people are just stressed right now and things aren't going well. But I wanted to talk about trusting God even when life is still difficult. When you can't trust what's going on in life, how do we still trust God, or why should we still trust God? And one of the things I thought about with COVID, and I saw in the news this morning where there's a day of mourning coming here in California, and they're making velvet roses and going to be placing them for people who've lost a lot of relatives or loved ones. So do me a favor. If you've lost a relative due to COVID, would you just type in the word relative? If you've lost a friend during this COVID period, would you type in the word friend? If you've lost both relatives and friends, type in both. Okay, so it's if you've lost a relative, type relative. If you lost a friend, type friend. And if you've lost both, type in both. And if you yourself have had COVID and you survived, or you're still dealing with some of the after effects, just type in the word me. Alrighty, I'm going to look at that a little later on and tell you what I'm going to do with it. But today I want to talk about Mark chapter 4, verse 37, about trusting God. In God we trust was the title of this. And in Mark 4, around the 37th verse or so, Jesus tells his disciples they've had a long day, and he says, hey, let's go to the other side. And they go by ship to the other side. So they hop in the ship, Jesus goes to sleep, and they are sailing, and then all of a sudden this storm comes. Isn't that much like life? I mean, think about it. January of last year, most of us were just living life with dreams of fulfilling 2020, doing well, and then all of a sudden we've had COVID. The economy is challenged by it. There's a huge change in our election this year. So things have just been kind of out of nowhere for many of us. Things have happened, whether it's jobs or life, or lack of life for some people, just all of a sudden. And that's kind of what the disciples were. Jesus says, let's go to the other side. Now, all of a sudden, this storm comes. Well, I want to remind you of a few things that even though this storm comes, and what they did, I wrote a few notes to myself. One, let's say, it came from nowhere. Another thing to remember is that Jesus was there. Right? It says that he was in the ship beneath, sleep. Now, sometimes it feels just like that. Can we just be real? Have you ever gone through and you've wondered, God, are you still there? If that's you, just to say, I have. Because I have. Like, Lord, for real, are you still there? And then another thing to realize, they were in the storm because they followed Jesus's directive of let's go to the other side. Sometimes the enemy will make you feel that things are really difficult or that you're experiencing this storm because you're outside of the will of God. And that's not always true. Here's the reality that we experience storms even when we're in the presence of God. Remember, Jesus was still there. And that's the other thing to remember, that God is still with you even in this storm. And it may feel like they said to Jesus, they finally woke him up, right? And said, hey, don't you even care that we are about to die? Listen, it's really not strange for you to, or I want to say unusual. It's human for you to maybe even feel like God isn't there, that God isn't listening, or that God doesn't care. But we can process and work through those things knowing this, that God is there, that Jesus was there, and that, remember, the directive was let's go to the other side. So it's between getting on that ship and getting to the other side that the storm happened. So remember this, that when God gives directive, we can count on him doing what it takes to get us to the other side. Because that's the goal. That's where he said we were going. So you can rest your hat on that. So one, know that God is there. Two, know that if he's given the directive, we're going to get to the other side. Amen. So I just want to encourage you today to know that, hey, God's got us no matter where we are, no matter what we're going through. And it's okay that you feel that way, but just hang in there, keep trusting God, keep seeking God, and know that God also has the power to speak peace in the middle of that storm. Jesus woke up and said, peace, be still. And then they were even more afraid. They were like, oh my goodness, what kind of man is this that even the wind and the waves obey their voice? They had never seen anything like that. And trust me, if we keep walking with God, we will see great displays of him and his character that we've never seen before, because he makes it tailor-made for us. Alrighty, God bless you. Thank you for listening, and on my ears being caught, because there's a song playing that says there's no one like our God. Amen. There's no one like our God. Be encouraged, my brothers and my sisters. Thanks for spending break time with Pastor V. Have a great day. And I'm praying for you, and I'm going to be praying for you when I read those comments about who's personally experienced COVID, relatives, family, or friends. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Invite a friend.